Hello everybody, how are you doing today? This is Alpha Sentry once again, and I am back after the Immortal Vanguard's expansion release, back here with a new and, might I say, spicy deck for you guys. So it's a new concept in Duelyst. You've seen combo decks before, but now they've added a 2-card kill combo. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, let's get right into it. Here are the 2 cards. Ornate Hiogi and Second Sword Sarugi. So Ornate Hiogi, 6 mana artifact. Whenever you cast a spell, draw a card. Great, we can spam spells. Every spell we cast gets us a new card to play. Second Sword Sarugi, 7 mana 4/7. Your spells cost 2 less. So, I think you guys see what is going on here. We have both of these on the field at the same time. All our spells cost 2 less, and whenever we play one, we draw another card. So, what if our whole deck is made up of these 2 cards and spells that cost 2 or less mana? Then once we put both of these on the field at the same time, we can, in theory, cycle through our entire deck. And when you think about what spells does Songhai have that cost 2 or less mana, there's actually quite a lot you can do. So the first part of the deck is just going to be pure damage cards. So once we have both combo pieces on the field, we cycle through, and these are the cards we're going to be looking for. Inner Focus on Reaver's Heartseeker, combine with Ethereal Blades and Saberspine Seal, either on Reaver or the Heartseeker. That's 9 points of Saberspine damage, 12 points of Ethereal damage, an extra 1 from Inner Focus, 2 from the General. That's a lot of damage. And if that wasn't enough, we have 8 Gates and Phoenix Fire as well, which can represent 27 damage if you play them all in the correct sequencing. So there is a lot of damage that we can play after we play the 2 combo pieces. So that's why I consider it a 2-card combo kill, pretty much. What else would we want in the deck that costs 2 or less mana? Well, we're going to want some way to control the board up until that point. So Ghost Lightning and Gotatsu go very well with 8 gates as well. Just give us some board control. And Onyx Bear Seal is what we need to take out the bigger threats. Now obviously it is a 3 mana card, so you're thinking, doesn't that brick the combo? I'm going through, I'm playing all my 2 mana spells for 0 mana, then I get a 3 mana spell, it costs some mana. So either you have to play this with extra mana left over, or we also run Mana Vortex, so you have to hold Mana Vortex until you get Onyx Bear Seal and then play them both, and then they both cost 0. So we can run a few 3 mana spells, and Onyx Bear Seal is probably the most powerful one and what we're going to choose to use. Now what else? You're thinking, well, it's a Varth meta, everyone's playing Varth, so we're going to need some ways to run away from Varth. So the tried and true Mistwalking, get you out of a few sticky situations. Also, new this expansion is Substitution. So we can play our Heartseeker, play Mist Dragon Seal into the opposite corner, and then switch positions between our Heartseeker and our General, and we can go from one corner to the other, which buys us a couple of turns against board-based decks. So those are going to be some key components as well for running away. So we put it all together, this is what we get. 3 Second Sword Sarugi, 3 Ornate Hiogi, and a bunch of spells. So the game plan for the deck is just going to be do whatever you can with your 2 mana spells, try and control the board, try and keep away from the opponent and not take too much damage. And then the hard part comes where you're looking to drop either Hiogi on 6 or Sarugi on 7 and have it stick for a turn, basically. So Second Sword Sarugi, you can get away with just dropping it naked a lot of times because you haven't played any minions all game. If your opponent doesn't know what's coming, chances are they're not holding hard removal. So sometimes you can get away just dropping him naked. In a lot of matchups, Hiogi is going to be the one you want to drop first, though. If you can play it at the same time as a Mistwalking, say, and just get out of the middle of all your opponent's minions. Then they're going to need 3 sources of out-of-hand damage, or say 2 if you're still in reach of their General or one of their minions. But they're going to need multiple sources of out-of-hand damage to take out the Hiogi, which can be a little difficult. Yeah, so I'm not going to pretend at all that this is a top tier deck, it's really not. If your opponent knows what's coming, it's very easy to shut down. You just have to hold artifact removal and hold hard removal. And then since we need one of the cards to stick a turn, there's basically nothing that we can do to win the game at that point. It also does lose to decks that pressure heavily in the early game if you don't get the exact right draws to either shut down that pressure or teleport out of the way. And Saurian Finality is the big buzzword going on right now. And you can imagine we're trying to play a combo that needs to happen on 7 mana or higher. If we're going first and our second player Mag plays Finality on 7, then there's literally no way for us to do the combo. So definitely not a top tier deck, but it's a lot of fun. It's definitely something new that we haven't seen before in Duelyst, both a 2-card kill combo and also playing your whole deck in your same turn. It's a hell of a lot of fun. When other people see the deck, I've had a lot of people message me say, hey dude, cool deck, pretty sweet. I've also had a couple of streamers get a bit disappointed at how uninteractive Duelyst has become, and hey, I'm just here to spread the cancer, so you guys should totally try this deck out. Seeing as you've stuck around this long, I figure I should give you some tips on how to actually combo. And the first one is go as fast as humanly possible. So you might not think about this, but Duelyst decks are 40 cards. We're playing a whole deck in one turn. We have 90 seconds. And it actually takes a decent amount of time between playing the card and then the Hiogi triggering and you drawing the new card. So as soon as you see a card in your hand, you need to immediately know what to do with it. Do I play it? Do I save it? You have to cycle through your cards very, very quickly. So it's worth per actions per minute. Finally important in Duelyst. Never thought you'd see the day, right? Yeah, so I mentioned holding some cards. So what cards would you want to not play immediately out of your deck? So Mana Vortex is the obvious one, because if you use all your Mana Vortexes, then any 3-cost spells are going to break your hand. Speaking of bricks, that's probably something I should mention. If you have 6 cards in your hand, eventually you're going to draw cards that aren't 2-mana spells. So you're going to have 2 copies of Hiogi and 2 copies of Sarugi in your deck. So that takes up 4 bricks, and then other cards can also brick. So, like I say, the 3-cost spells, Onyx Bear Seal can brick if they just don't have a minion in play. Inner Focus can brick if you've already buffed up your Heartseeker. So you need to be very careful, because if you get all your bricks before you get enough damage for lethal, then the combo, it is possible to flub it. That said, there is kind of an interesting thing with the combo in that you're playing so many cards in your turn, your opponent has to wait for all those animations. And after your turn ends, the animations still roll over into their turn. So if you play enough cards in the combo but don't get lethal, it's possible that you are actually able to rope their whole turn as well, where they're watching animations, which is absolutely hilarious. So sometimes you can get a second shot at the win. So if you rope out your turn, don't concede, because chances are you might have roped their turn too. Right, the third one there is you want to hold your Phoenix Fires until after playing 8 gates in the combo. That one's a bit obvious, but the only way to turn your 8 gates into damage is with the Phoenix Fires, so you want to hold them. That said, before you combo off, don't be afraid to use your Phoenix Fires and to use your other damage to control the board. Because there is definitely more than enough damage in the deck that you're allowed to. Even if you use all your Phoenix Fires, there's still enough damage in the deck to kill them. So that's not really something you have to worry about. Fourth tip there, don't buff your Heartseeker until after you use all the Inner Focus. That one's pretty straightforward. If you don't have a Heartseeker with 3 attack or less, then your Inner Focuses are going to brick in your hand, and that's going to be one less card that you'll be able to cycle through. The fifth one there is not something you'd necessarily think about, but know how much teleport is in your deck. So I'm talking about the 3 Mistwalking and the 2 Substitution. So say you use all of those in the early game, surviving until you get the combo. You're going to want to hit face with your General to get the maximum Ethereal Blades damage. And if you don't have enough teleport spells, then you should know that you won't be able to hit with your General and not go for that. And the 6th one here is fairly obvious. If if you've killed all your opponent's minions already with 8 gates Ghost Lightning in the middle of the combo, you can always go Tatsu your own Sarugi to cycle it. So just all of those things are things you have to keep in mind. But when the time comes to play the combo, you really just have to go for it. Go as fast as you can, because the rope comes incredibly quickly. And it takes a lot of practice. I guarantee you will flub your first combo with the deck. That said, that's the tips for how to combo. How to play the early game and mid game. There's not really much that you can say, just do your best. If I know I'm up against a Swarm deck, I'll hold 8 gates and I'll hold Ghost Lightning, I'll look for that combo to clear their board. If I know I'm up against Vath or Lionel, I will hold Mist Dragon Seal and hold Substitution and look for that combo. And then just try and teleport out of dodge in the mid game. It is possible sometimes to ramp out Sarugi on 5 mana with the mana tiles, but that's never a good idea to go for because, or ramp out Hiogi on 5 mana, but that's never a good idea because Sarugi's always going to cost 7. So you'll be left stranded and they'll have two turns to clear your Hiogi. So that's something you want to not go for. Finally, to end off this video, I think I will go over some choices that I didn't put in the final cut of my deck, but you can certainly put in yours. Because the deck's basically only 6 cards big, and then a bunch of whatever you want. You can fit some of these in. So I did originally run Obscuring Blow, just for extra damage, but it also helps in that if you're down on, say, 2 health, or like 5 health versus a 6th attack Vath or something, and you need to cash in your general damage, you can backstab them and not take a draw, you can take a win. In the end, I didn't feel that was important enough to make the cut. Flicker is a good card if you're not going for... if you take out the substitution, I would consider putting in a 1-off Flicker, especially if you're going for Obscuring Blow. The Battle Pando Deathstrike Seal combo is interesting. So you're probably thinking, wait a minute, Battle Pando isn't a 2-mana spell. Yes, it is certainly going to break the combo, and that's just something you have to think about, is if I add 2 Battle Pando and then I go up to 6 cards that aren't spells, then you're banking on either playing some early in the game or getting all your damage before you break out. That said, the Battle Pando Deathstrike Seal combo is definitely very strong at keeping clear the boards of the factions that like to make huge boards, like Obelisk Vet, say. So depending what you see in the meta, it might be a good tech. Also, Deathstrike Seal works very well with your Heartseeker Inner Focus, just as extra removal. It's just removal that doesn't break the combo, which is great. And yeah, the Battle Pando combo with the Deathstrike Seal is very good for what this deck wants to do, which is just keep the board clear until you can combo off. Artifact Hunt is interesting, because it essentially lets you play more copies of Hiogi. And there's even an argument for playing, say, 2 copies of Hiogi and 1 copy of Artifact Hunter. Because it's basically a Hiogi you can play that gets a brick out of your deck and makes a 3/3 body. So it gives you something to do in the earlier turns, leading up to the combo, which is cool. And Bloodridge Mask I haven't actually tested that much with, but it's just in there because it's interesting to think about. So say you manage to stick one of these and one of your combo pieces, then that's a huge amount of damage, because you're probably going to be playing 20 spells in your combo turn. So you can kill them basically off Bloodridge Mask damage alone, which is hilarious. But ultimately I think it was just too much to ask to be able to stick a Bloodridge Mask and a different combo piece, so that's why it's not in the deck. So yeah, there's a few other cards you can play around with. Like I said, the deck's very flexible. It doesn't really matter what you put in there other than Hiogi and Sarugi. Just this is the optimized version that I found. But yeah, definitely some flex room. I think that's going to be it for this video. Keep your eyes peeled for part 2. Hopefully I'm going to be recording some games with Rgood. So if you haven't seen much of him, definitely check out the next video. He's a very good player, and he's been experimenting with Hiogi Sarugi as well. Check the description. I'm going to put some links in there and shout out some of the some of the other pioneers of this deck list as well. And until next time, I will see you guys later.